it a certain way. I try to zoom in on photos, and it doesn't do shit for me.
Well, let's definitely talk about that on the show because we're live now.
It's the dumbest damn invention.
iPhones are nice. You just got to get used to them.
Welcome everybody to Tales from the Lounge. I'm Ron.
I'm Rhonda.
And this is our buddy.
Blake Deal.
I spaced out. I don't know why I did that. This is Blake.
Because you're a dork.
You know what? Things have just been kind of weird over here, and I'm trying to make sure things are working properly. So anyway, welcome to the show. He's going to be our guest tonight. We're going to talk about cigars. We're talking about how we met. We're going to tell horrible stories on each other and laugh and joke and probably cry a little bit because, you know, I don't see enough of him anymore.
Oh, don't cry.
I'm still around.
There's no crying. There's no crying in cigars.
Please don't cry.
No crying.
No crying in cigar world.
Nope.
All right. And tonight we're smoking the Lampert. We'll get Al in here in a little bit to tell us about this stick. And we're having old fashions because, as you can see back behind us, we are tonight at Good Cigar in Little Elm. They not only have a good humidor, but they've got a bar, and they make some awesome drinks. And I've been very, very happy. You know, and like any place, sometimes you get a bartender who's off that day, but for the most part, the drinks are good.
Yeah.
So, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
And we're going to play our intro.
Cheers to you guys.
And then Rhonda's going to do her business tonight.
Jemima.
And we are back. Boy, that was quick, wasn't it?
That was quick.
That was really quick.
All right,
yeah.
you guys chat for just a minute. Huh? Yeah, you know, I don't need much of an intro.
I definitely don't need that much of an intro. I'm just in your face.
You know what?
And that's okay. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
I've had a lot going on though.
Yeah.
I've had a lot going on. With everything with my brother and work and all that fun stuff, it's been a little hectic, been a little crazy, but he's recovering, he's doing well. It's just when you work with your brother and you're the only people that handle everything at work, and then all of a sudden he goes down, he's in the hospital and having surgery and all the other stuff. It's like now I'm doing everything.
So was that something that just happened all of a sudden, or
it really did. So about a month and a half ago, I was actually on Lake Ray Roberts for a fishing tournament. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning that we put the boat in the water, and about 9:30 I just happened to look down, been fishing, and I just pulled my phone out to look, and I had 4 texts from my mom. It's like, hey, we're headed down to get your brother. We're headed to the emergency room. I'm like, so I immediately call her. I'm like, hey, you didn't think to call me on this? She's like, oh, I didn't want to bother you. You're fishing. I'm like, he's going to the emergency room. What's wrong?
Yes, exactly.
I would hope he would call me. I could easily get off the water and come do whatever.
Yeah.
So they drove down an hour from their house to come get him. So I ended up finding out the story that he said he woke up that morning, stood up, stretched a little bit as he got out of bed, and immediately fell over.
Oh wow.
In immense amount of pain, and to the point where he couldn't even stand back up again. He had to crawl back to his phone, and he called mom and dad, and then he called his PCP, and they were like, because I think this was probably about somewhere around 8 o'clock in the morning, and they were like, well, we can't get you in today.
What?
And he's like I'm crawling on the ground right now. They're like, we're going to need to go to the emergency room, and then we'll figure it out. So that's why he called my parents first. They got in the car, started heading down to come get him. And he had made his way to the couch and was laying on the couch, but they had to help him into the car, do everything. So after, I guess, all the tests and stuff, they diagnosed he has diverticulitis, which is apparently a very common thing, but it's common in older people. It's not common in 34-year-old people.
Yeah.
33, 34, whatever. He's somewhere in there. So basically, it's just all this blockage and there's all this shit in the bile and everything. It stops processing through your colon and your intestines, and his caused perforations in his bowels, so they were seeping into his body. So you're talking about shit essentially seeping into a sterile environment. That's when sepsis and all this weird stuff and all sorts of things. So weirdly enough, like the initial diagnosis, when it happened, I mean, he was in the hospital for 4 days.
Wow.
And, you know, just pumping antibiotics and IVs and all sorts of stuff through him. Ended up sending him home, but he had to have a PICC line in his arm for like another 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, he stayed with my parents for about a week, then came home. And so that was, you know, like helping him dress it all the time if he had to take a shower.
Yeah.
Doing all sorts of things.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
hard. You need help.
It was like pretty crazy. I mean, because you know, sometimes, you know, bless his heart, I don't think he's the most adept person to figure things out in the world, but he figured it out pretty quickly. I guess when it's your body.
When it's your body, you figure out shit quick.
And so everything cleared up, like all the antibiotics worked. They took him off they took the PICC line out, but the surgeon said, you know, just at his age, with surgery, they felt like basically, so the perforations have basically healed, but I guess it causes the tissue to be weaker, and so it will come back.
Right.
They said they try to do surgery if it does happen in younger people as soon as possible, because your recovery is better. I guess the older you get,
the harder it is.
The is, and the rest of it's all, you know, it's older and weathered tissue anyways. So they ended up having surgery Tuesday last week. They took 2 sections of his colon out, and like I said, when I saw him in the hospital the day that he had surgery, and I showed up that afternoon after surgery, and it looked like he got in a knife fight.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's what he had 5 incisions on his stomach.
Oh my
and
gosh.
they were all like, they just looked like little knife wounds. And so, but he's good now. He's recovering well.
Good.
You know, everything's good. But you know, like I said, when you work together too, I mean, he was out for, you know, 2-3 weeks out of the last month and a half that he was either in the hospital or recovering or couldn't do anything. And we don't have anybody else other than me at work, so I was telling him before you got here, I've had a lot of nights where it's been, you know, doing a event at church or something like that, and come and work until midnight, and then, you know, waking up at 7 o'clock again and starting over again.
Doing it all over
midnight,
again. Ooh, Lord. Ooh, bless your heart, honey.
Oh, it's been, I'm exhausted.
You're a good brother.
Oh, I tried, like I said, I told him, and he texted me the other day, Monday he texted me, and just kind of out of the blue was like, hey, thanks for helping out with everything, you know, just wanted to let you know that, you know, I appreciate you showing up for that. Because there was a couple nights that I told Mom and Dad to go home, and like I stayed with them and stayed overnight in the hospital, and I will say that too. That is one of those things that you appreciate the healthcare side of things a lot more when you stay overnight and you see. Because like there's like there's overnight nurses and then day nurses. And
yes,
sometimes
absolutely.
Overnight nurses and different nurses, and it's like how seamlessly they make. It's not even that they know their job well, but they do a really good job of keeping the patient comfortable. And like it's not like so my thing is I kept thinking a new person's going to come in and
not going to know and not going to know anything.
They don't know his medications. They don't know what he's done. You know, this or that, and they're like, no, they've got it all on a schedule. They know exactly what's going on. So it made him feel better too.
That's
he's
good.
Never had surgery before. He's never had a health issue like this before.
So I mean, it will scare you. I mean, that is something. It happened to me when I broke my ankle. So I was a nervous wreck. Never had any issues before until I broke my ankle.
Well, I mean, it messed with him mentally with the whole thing because, you know, he felt like it was. Which in part it was, but you know he was so hard on himself, thinking like it was his own doing that caused this. Because he's not the most active person in the world. He is very sedentary. But I also think it's kind of one of those things. It's like almost like call it divine intervention, what you will, or whatever, that you have to go through something like this to kind of give you a kick in the ass. To be like, and ever since, you know.
Well, and we've talked about that in the past, that, you know, he didn't go out and do much. He sat at home most of the time and everything. Well, real quick, let's say hi to Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Larry's always here. Lavonda's also on.
Hi, Lavonda.
And say hi to Dave Frakes for us.
Hello.
Hi, Dave. So, let's talk about how we met.
Doing this.
We were at Industrial Cigar Company, and I think you were a member first, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was a member pretty close to
You were
not far after opening and everything. I mean, I don't even think.
Maybe it was around the same time.
It was probably only a few months after they opened. I know. Okay. I don't even think it was a full year.
Well, I was a member a couple of weeks after they opened. I wasn't part of the soft opening stuff where they had people coming in with the drywall still up and everything. But
nope.
Were you part of that?
I heard that was pretty cool.
I was not. Like it was more for me. It was like I kept driving by and seeing a new sign, and then all of a sudden I saw a bunch of cars out there one day, and I was like, oh, I'll just stop in here. And I think it was the Southern Draw Night when Robert.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got a embroidered one of those work shirt deals like they wear at the shop, which I think I've only worn like twice.
But it doesn't fit anymore?
Well,
It probably don't fit anymore.
I got to rip you a little bit.
Well, of course you do it. I expect every bit of it. Oh,
yeah, let somebody get on this verse today.
Do.
Yeah.
It's like earlier,
it's
my brother
turn.
called. What did I say? Oh, fuck him. I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah. and then here I am telling the stories about how I'm taking care of my brother and doing all these things, and he's over here. So it's just my brother fucking.
Yeah. Well, for the longest time, every time I saw my brother, I wanted to punch him in the face because he was fucking up all the time. But
Well, damn, Ron.
I think we all, that's it's one of the funniest things. Like that's one of the questions I get asked more than anything, or comments that people make. When I meet people and you start talking about your lives and this and that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I live with my brother and I work with them, and they're like, how do you live and work with a sibling? I'm like, because we're two completely different people.
Right.
Like, and now the fact that I work from home, he's in the office, and so basically, like when he comes home, that's usually when I'm gone doing something.
Right.
And then even though we're like really close, really good friends.
Yeah.
It's like he's a homebody.
Yeah.
And even though I wouldn't consider myself like the social butterfly of the world, but I mean, I'm usually out doing
That's my
something.
job.
Yeah, you're out doing something.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's at the dog park or, I started playing softball again on Monday, and
okay, nice.
I don't feel very good about it right now.
Oh. It's gonna take a minute to get back into the swing of things
a surgically repaired shoulder that hasn't thrown a ball in a couple years, and
I mean, it's gonna take time to get back into the swing of things. Don't beat yourself up.
I haven't done more than a jog or something here and there, and all of a sudden I tried to run really hard, and
don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up.
Felt like my mind was trying to, but the feet weren't getting out of the ground.
Oh, I know. And I stretched my Achilles tendon about 12 years ago, and about 6 years ago, I got in my head that I was going to play softball again.
Yep.
And I was good for one sprint. I'd hit the ball, run to first, and I'd be limping for a week. And I'm talking serious limp.
See, that's like you don't need to be playing anymore.
They had to put in a spot runner, and all I could do was limp around the outfield and hope that I could get to something,
Well, it's bad when, like, as I'm warming up and like going out there and doing, we're about to get ready to play the game. I looked at one of the guys who was like, I kind of hope I get hurt tonight because then that's my sign that I shouldn't be doing.
Do not say that. Kind of hope you get hurt tonight. Don't say that.
Well, and this is the great part of my family too. So like I took a picture of the field, and right before the game, and then like text my family, mom, dad, and brother was like, pray for me. And the first text I got back from my mom was, are you drunk? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess.
She's like, because she knows that you haven't played in a long time.
I'm like,
but it's okay. It's a good exercise again. But just don't go out there and thinking like you're 15.
So I told one of the guys, I was like, every time I step between the lines, the beast wants to come out of the cage, but the beast needs to stay caged right now.
Just look, have a good time, enjoy it, but try not to hurt yourself.
No, that's where I'm starting to learn. It's like, how, because I was telling Ron before you came in, I was like, it's been the last year and a half or so, but like the last 6, 7, 8 months, like I've just, it's like every time someone says something, it's like, hey, you want to come try this? All right, sure. Hey, you want to come out and volunteer for this? Okay. Hey, you want to come out? We need somebody to help out here. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, I'm in 17,000 group messages, and I'm going out and doing stuff every single day.
That's what happens. That's okay.
Well, it's like I said, most of the stuff is with the church, so then it's like I can't say no to the church.
You can't say no to the church. No. You better not say
no
to the church.
Sometimes you do have to say no to the church.
Sometimes you can.
It depends on what it is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're genuinely asking you for your help, they genuinely need your help, you better take your behind over there and go help them.
Yep.
It's for the church. It's for a good cause.
So, How long have you been smoking cigars?
You know, for me, it really hadn't even been maybe, I don't even think it's been a decade. It's probably only been, I probably really started smoking, you know, I would say regularly or whatever, probably a couple years before, you know, I started going to lounges and join, you know, ICC and stuff like that. I mean, we always had college days, you know, where you'd have a poker night or something like that, trying to smoke out a room and get in trouble for it the next day by RAs and coaches and everybody else. But I think if we get to that, the very first, I don't even know if you really technically call it a cigar in the cigar world now, but it was Titan Phillies that we got from the 7-Eleven gas station.
Oh wow! So you wasn't really smoking, like you thought you were smoking.
It was just like, yeah.
I think for everybody, like in their college days when they first started smoking, they start with something from the gas station and they think, oh yeah, look at me, I'm doing it big. But you really don't really.
A backwoods.
Yeah, you really don't really know how to smoke until you really get a good cigar. You go to a lounge, and then you start learning the ins and outs of a real stick, and seeing what you've been missing. Because all this time you've been thinking the stick that you got from the liquor store, or the corner store, or the gas station was the stick. Oh, this is so good.
Well, and it's being around people that get you to understand that cigar smoking is almost like eating, drinking, you know, anything, because there are different palettes and there are different flavor profiles, and like, you know, most people think it's just, ew, it's nicotine, you know, all this and that, and I'm like, no, that's cigarettes.
That's cigarette. Yeah, that's cigarettes. This is not a cigarette.
This is not a cigarette.
No.
Not at all.
But some people don't like to be told that. They just immediately think, oh, it's a cigar, it's just as bad as anything else. Which,
right,
because they're uneducated. Like, sure,
they're uneducated. They don't know any different. They have misconceptions. So, what was the first cigar that you remember and went, oh?
That's a really good question right there, to be honest with you.
I have one every blue moon.
I bet it was a Gurkha. How about that?
Sure. With my free backpack on. Actually, I keep trying to think of something. It was basic, and it was probably something that you know what, it was probably, I would have to say it's probably something that today I wouldn't smoke.
Right.
Or I might go back to here and there. I mean, it was probably some sort of,
or maybe a Rocky or something.
You know what,
like
the one that always stands out to me that I always remember in my head, that was like the first one that was like, man, I really liked, was a Drew Estates Florida Sundrum.
Okay.
Yep. Like that was the one that always kind of like I would go back to and be like, oh yeah, I remember I did really like this before.
So, wasn't that one? Is that the same one that Joseph said that was one of his favorite ones, the Drew Estate? I can't remember. So. I think it was something. I think he liked the Drew Estate line.
It was a Drew Estate.
Yeah, I think he liked that line too. I think when we had him on the show, I think he said
don't
that
get me wrong.
same thing.
Drew Estate does put out some good stuff.
Yes,
they also
they do.
put out a whole lot of crap too, but there's very few companies that don't do that. There's a lot of them out there. The vast majority of them have a few good sticks. Rest of it's crap, and then you have those small unicorns, for lack of a better description, where everything they make is good. It may not be fantastic, amazing, blow your mind, but it's good price point. You don't mind smoking.
Well, one of the big things that I've really just kind of honed in and hunkered down on in the last couple of years is I think everybody goes through the craze at one point or another where you're chasing the unicorns and you're only buying this and that here and there, but then and you start realizing like even there's so much stuff out there that it doesn't have the same complexity all the way through. Like it's not changing on you. It may be just one note all the way through.
Right.
But sometimes you're not looking for a life-changing cigar.
The construction is there and it burns well and it doesn't taste like trash and it's not stemmed up real bad or anything like that. Like that's a good cigar.
Yeah.
Like, and you can have just as good of an experience with that cigar as you can, whether it be a catalog bought cigar, whether it be a factory knockoff or something here and there. Now I will say, most of those you're going to run through a lot of shit ones here and there.
Absolutely.
But we were just talking about it earlier before that, like with a brand like La Galera, that's one that I always go back to.
Oh yeah, that's such a good stick.
The construction
it's such a good
is
stick.
all there. Yes, it doesn't have some of the complexity, in my opinion, as other higher end cigars do. But for me, it's like great fishing cigars, golf cigars, things that they're going to stay lit. They're not going to run bad on you. They're going to burn.
If you don't pay attention to it, you're not going to hurt yourself
Absolutely.
over it. Well, Darren just came out with the new cigar, the White Gold. And I had one last night, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. But the one thing that amazes me with his sticks are the construction. And I'm sitting there watching it burn even all the way fucking down.
Yep.
I'm like, what the hell, man? What magic is this, Darren? I mean, shit. it's magica,
It's called OCD perfection.
I tell you what, he's got it.
But
he's got it bad.
He's one of those people that like, it's truly an event, and every time you get a chance to talk to him, because the passion that he has for the craft is because that's what he loved. Like, he's gonna make them because he's got such a good palate that he can sit there and create something and go, no, this ain't gonna work. And it is, like if he just like any, that's a big thing. I think the biggest issue with cigar makers sometimes is you have some people that are like, we just need production.
Yeah, Dave says great value cigar.
What's that?
Probably the Durastate.
Yeah.
Now, but you know what? And this is something, and this just popped into my brain. I may be way off or not, but probably one of the biggest things that a cigar smoker needs to learn is cigar for the occasion and cigar for the time that you're in. And I'm bringing that up because of the article you wrote for us from Tales from the Lounge about the cigar that was given to you.
Did I do something like that? It's been so long since
Well, apparently you did.
We'll get into that too, because that's something that I'm working on right now.
Yeah. But apparently you did.
Yes.
Before my time.
Yes.
But the deal was, he smoked a cigar while he was working in the garage, and he says, the person who gave it to him, he said it was a great cigar, and he goes, I really didn't see it. He says, then it dawned on me, I wasn't concentrating on the cigar. I was doing stuff in the garage and was just puffing on the cigar.
So he wasn't enjoying it.
He wasn't enjoying it.
It was just there.
Yeah. And so he turned around and smoked another one where he sat down and just relaxed and enjoyed the cigar.
Well, I remember I actually called my buddy that gave it to me, and I said, hey, what do you normally do when you smoke? Because that's like, and I think that's one of the things too, is like you find out exactly. And I was like, what do you do when you're smoking this cigar? Are you sitting down having bourbon, or you drinking tequila, or is it in the lounge, is it at home by yourself kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because then you want to kind of recreate the same thing, and because even though mine is not going to be exactly like his, like it's really, and it gets down to what he was saying, it's like actually giving it its due,
right?
And not, just, and that's why, like I said, I mean, a lot of stuff that I buy is I have certain cigars that are like messing around in the garage when I'm doing tackle for a fishing tournament, or if I'm on the lake fishing, or if I'm playing golf or doing something like that, that if it flies out of the cart and I forget about it 2 holes later, I'm like, okay.
You're not mad about it.
You're not mad about it.
I got another one in the case, and I'll pull it out and light it up too.
Exactly. And, and I think that's something that people need to realize and be cognitive of when they buy cigars, and Dave has mentioned on more than one occasion that people will come in and say, hey, we're going to the golf course, we need a cigar, and they bring up some sticks and they go, those are not what you want. If you're going out to the range or to the golf course, you want something a little more oily, you want something that's going to stay lit, blah, blah, blah. And instead of selling them what they came in and grabbed, they sold them what they needed. And that's what you need to be cognitive of. What am I going to do when I smoke this cigar? And if
there's a whole laundry list of etiquette stuff that, like, I know we were joking earlier about Gurkha and stuff like that, but you know what, if you smoke Gurkhas and you like them and that's what gives you your peace and serenity to sit down.
To each his own. To each his own.
It's fun to make fun of those and acids, but
it does get, and that's why sometimes, like, I've just, you see some of these cigar pages that you used to follow all the time, and then it's just nothing but people shitting on each other all the time in the comments, and it's like, oh, that's a terrible smoke. You don't know what you're, it's like, dude, like, it may be the best thing in the world to this guy.
Right.
Right.
He may have pennies to your thousands of dollars. You have no idea who that person is. Anything of the nature of that person. It's like there's so many things that happen that you don't know what someone went through that day.
That's right.
And then you treat them a certain way, and it's like before you can even get the words out of your mouth to tell someone they can't do something or they can't go anywhere or they, you're smoking the wrong thing, you're doing this and that. It's like you don't know if their dog just died that day, and they're just looking for a place to come in and get away from the world. 20, 30 a minute, an hour, something like that. And they don't want judgment upon what they're smoking. And
we just need more love in the world.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I love judging people all day long.
We just need more love and peace in the world.
I just think if you're gonna that's what it's funny that Dustin's in here over there because him and I have talked about this all the time. It's like I'm just like I'll judge you, but I'm just gonna judge you to your face. I'm not gonna do it behind your back.
And then I'm gonna hug you and give you a big kiss.
Yeah. I'm the man of many nicknames. That was one that a coworker of mine gave me a long time ago. He kept calling me the Gentle Pitbull because I was always like nice and reserved and like calm. But then like if I needed to tell you something, I'd just tell you straight to your face. You're a dumbass.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Now I'm gonna tell this story, and then I'm gonna get in trouble over it.
It's probably a story you didn't already told, so you already been in trouble.
No, it's not.
Okay,
not on air.
Okay, well you're gonna get in trouble then.
The deal is, the three of us have been really, really, really good friends for a long time, and there was always speculation that either I or Blake was going to date Rhonda at some point.
the conversation has happened,
and it was so funny. They tried to first hook up Rhonda and I. That wasn't going to work out because I was married. Then they tried to hook up Rhonda and Blake. And that didn't work out.
Little did I know that this was all happening.
And it was all subtle and just made, backroom gossip and joking and stuff. But you know what? Despite all of that, including all of that, we're just such good friends, and we have such a great time every time the three of us together.
Yeah.
First Fridays and events. The three of us get together, and we were just having such a great time. Oh, yeah. And Blake and I gave him a big hug when I saw him today, and I said, I've missed you. I don't really have anybody else I tell all my secrets to. And so I'm sitting here going, so much shit's going on, man.
Well, I try to pride myself on not telling people secrets to everybody else.
Exactly. You're a man of discretion, and
there might be a few things that slip out here and there, but what if it happens? I'll let you punch me in the face and make up for it and say we're sorry.
We won't have to. I won't have to punch you in the face. So I'm just not going to tell you.
That's right. Well, and
so I won't have to punch you in the face if it happens.
Well, and that's my thing. It's like if. The one thing that I've always it's always irked me a little bit is if a situation happens and then people come up to me and be like, oh, so-and-so, I don't care. Like if the person that's involved in it doesn't want to do anything, then we'll just leave it at that and just call it a day. All this back and forth about he said, she said, and the other stuff in between.
Oh, yeah.
That's too much drama.
Well, that's the other thing.
That's too much drama. No one has time for all that.
And that's the other thing.
Don't need to be involved.
And that's the other thing the three of us are solid on is we don't put up with drama. I have no room for drama. I was married for 23 years with 3 girls. I've had all the fucking drama I can stand, all right?
Well, life is too short to be dealing with all that mess.
Well, I'm here to tell you right now, if you live just another day, you're probably going to find some more somewhere.
You know what? I like to play.
Look, but because that's just what it is.
But it's all about...
Hey, Al!
That's a big thing, too. It's all about perspective, And that's... people can preach about it all day long, but until you actually personally try to change it...
Yeah.
You're just going to be stuck in drama all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're pulling Al in real quick. Tell us about what we're smoking right here.
That's the Lampert. That one has a Mexican San Andreas wrapper on it, and a Nicaraguan binder and filler on it.
I probably would have guessed San Andreas on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love the Mexican San Andreas wrappers. They're just phenomenal. And in fact, that whole leaf is just phenomenal. Wherever you put it.
But even for Nicaraguan, it doesn't have just a ton of,
pepper on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pepper bite. No, it's very, because he uses a really nice aged tobacco on it. He just does a really great job with bringing a lot of flavor without just being the pepper punch. So
Right.
nice.
Exactly. So tell us about the event and this weekend.
This weekend, Saturday, we have a Lampert event.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have also live music from Freddie Boses playing here this Saturday. So we've got two things going on at once, but it's always a good time because we've got live music playing. And we also have the Lampert here. We're going to have specials on the Lampert, plus our rep's going to be here. And we're hoping
And you hope the bar just overflows with whiskey, right?
Whiskey and women, yes.
Hey, listen, I got no problem with that.
Yeah, so I think that's a good combo, isn't it?
I love the combo.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
welcome.
And by the way,
It's
what?
going to start at 7 o'clock in the evening and be over.
That's even better.
It starts at 7 to 10, so it usually goes on to about 10:30
I'll be
or so.
done with my tournament by then and be ready to get out of the sun.
Exactly. Now, Al is the owner of Good Cigar. That's why we brought him in. He's the man who knows everything about this place. When you come in, tell him hi. Tell him we saw you on Tales from the Lounge, and he'll slap you across the face.
And tell him Rhonda sent you.
Right, not Ron. Don't tell him Ron sent you. Tell him Rhonda. I love you, brother. Thank you.
Well, now I can see real good. I got my new glasses.
Oh, you got new glasses?
Yeah, I might as well use that insurance that I'm paying for.
Okay, amen to that.
I hear you.
Stop giving back the money that I don't use.
I keep finding myself, if you keep finding me peeking over my shoulder here real quick, it's because I'm a baseball nerd and the game's on.
All right,
So
all
I
right.
Oh my goodness. So that game is more important than sitting here talking
so-
to us, huh?
It's not. It's
Now
just
I'm worried
habits.
about you having new glasses.
It's just habit.
Why?
Well, because now you're going to realize you're sitting here with me and go, what the fuck am I doing here?
Oh, I've been to realize that shit.
That's happened a long time.
Yeah, that happened a long time ago, honey. You're a little late to that party. I already said that. But I figured I needed to see, a little bit.
And I keep seeing you're just homemaker.
Yeah, I've been
Rebuild, tear down,
Yes.
clean out, storms.
Yes.
The whole thing.
The whole 9 yards. I just had these trees.
Doesn't it always seem it works that way though? As soon as you buy something, it all happens right away.
7 trees.
But wouldn't you rather get it out of the way now?
Yes, because every time a storm blows up there, a damn tree branch falls.
But
I mean, not just a little branch, a big branch.
how about the house itself? You getting it to the point where it's like,
Is
it yours yet, or you still got some things left to do?
I still have some things to do. I still have some things to do. Right now, it's like more of the outside we're working on because I did need to get those trees done.
Right.
We had 7 trees cut, 3 in the back and 4 in the front. I mean, I really had a lot of trees in my front yard.
A
Like,
couple
I
of
really
them look
do.
like they were big trees too.
Yeah, a lot of them were big trees.
Yep.
Well, and plus
So-
you had how many trimmed up?
Oh, the whole yard, the whole front yard, the whole backyard. But I had one big tree in the backyard that was kind of hanging over into the neighbor's yard, and it was huge. But when you look at the tree, you think, oh, it's so nice and beautiful. No, it was split. It was splitting, so it was like dead. So if anything, it was just a matter of time for that tree just to fall. So it had to go. But they were in that tree like it was nobody's business. I'm like, how did you, because I was trying to figure out how are you going to get that branch, all those branches that are hanging over there, not to fall into their yard. But they did it. But they were all in their yard too at one point. So I had some really nice neighbors. So I texted the neighbors and I was like, hey, I got the tree guys here. They're like, whatever you need.
Is it a shared fence neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like whatever you need, because it's their side, so it's in the cabinets. It's on the fence on their side. Like whatever you need, we're out. The dogs are put up, and so the back gate's open. So if you need anything, just go over there. Like okay, thanks neighbors. Yeah, they're nice neighbors.
That was a funny because I'm in a shared fence neighborhood as well, and I thought that was a funny thing about how it's probably been a year or so now, and we had just some of the bad storms and stuff we've had. Actually, it was one of the last ones that really did it. The one, I don't know if anybody saw, but the little La Azteca place down here, it had like the whole
Yes.
front facade.
Yes,
ripped
I
off.
saw that.
Yeah,
Yes.
my house
Yeah.
was right behind them.
Oh, okay.
And so that night, like I that was one of the scariest things, is I watched my back fence, like it was like sitting here doing this.
Oh,
And
wow.
then there was one section that it picked up about 5 or 6 pickets, like off the 2x4s and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of like floated up in the air and then just fell. And then there was another whole section that got opened up like a gate, so it just broke that the L brackets, everything off of it, pushed that whole thing open. So my landlord I called him immediately, showed him the pictures, and he calls me and is like, okay, well, we're gonna get fencing guys out there immediately. And I text him back, I was like, are you gonna pay for all this, or are you like? And he goes, oh, well, I just figure I'll just go to the neighbors afterwards and tell them that they owe me this much. And I was like, well, you're the dumbest person in the world.
Oh my
Amen.
God.
Amen.
So
What? Why? Because the fence was on their side, though, right?
Well, it's
The posts and all this stuff was on their side, right?
the posts were on their side, the pickets are on our side. But the long story short of it is, I joked with him afterwards, and he actually did it. As I was like, hey, I saved you thousands of dollars because like the neighbors weren't going to do anything.
No,
And
they weren't.
because like he eventually went to the neighbors, and one of the neighbors on one side, they also rent. So they're like, well, I can give you the landlord's information.
Right.
And then the other one, they were like, well, the one between us and them was fine. I'm not paying for anything. It was the one in the back. Well, the one in the back, I don't even like. Half the time, I don't think anybody lives there. Like I never see anybody in it.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know that house I used to live in, I had a backyard, had 3 fence sides. They convinced the neighbor on the right-hand side to replace the fence. The one in the back, they wouldn't even answer the door.
Because they didn't want to pay for that damn thing.
And they were renting, and they wouldn't even give them the landlord's information. And the guy next to me was buying his house, and he says, I'm not paying for shit.
Yep.
And so I wound up with 1 new side and 2 bad
Well, that's
sides.
what I was telling him, because he was ready to get everything scheduled. I mean, it's not cheap to do fences right now.
Oh, I know.
Materials are still expensive, and so like again, he finally got to the point where he didn't do it. I was like, I makeshifted it for a little bit where I put some things back together here and there enough to where the dog couldn't get through the fence.
Exactly, yeah.
And I told him,
Which is what I had to do.
Well, and let's preface it with this. So when I first moved into that house 7 years ago, the second week we were in the house, we had a huge storm that did the same thing. It blew open part of the back fence.
Right.
I went and got 2 old school like wire hangers out of my closet, wrapped them around the pole and the part of the fence where it needed to go back together, took a pair of pliers and used it as a twist tie essentially.
Right.
And it's been holding like that for 7 years until this last storm came through.
Oh, well, see.
So I
sometimes
told him, I was like, it doesn't bother me. Like I don't own the house, I'm renting it.
Right, so it doesn't bother you.
And so I joked with him. I sent him a text. I was like, hey, I saved you, a lot of money. What do you think about knocking off a rent this month? This next couple months? And he goes, okay. I was
that's nice.
I was like, well,
Let me tell you something.
Let me save you a few more $1,000 on things.
Sometimes you got to use what you got
Oh yeah.
to make shit happen. It sounds like you made shit happen, and that's okay.
And so, yeah,
It's expensive. First it was mulch and doing the yard work, and then now there's the trees. Now the next big project I have is the sprinkler system. I'm like, I'm not looking forward to that.
Don't ask me. I've done sprinklers before. Those are not fun.
No, my goddaughter's dad has been coming over helping us with the sprinkler system, but I just think I'm gonna have to get a whole new
do it in the fall too, because everybody wants to do it in the summer because that's when everything goes out and that's when you need to water the yard.
Yeah, and they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg too.
And it is so
I'm
damn
gonna get the sprinkler guy in the wintertime so that way he's not gonna charge me too much money.
I had a sprinkler system at a house I owned in Tyler, Texas, and it had some sprinkler heads I need to replace, and I got to digging up the sprinkler heads and replacing them. What I didn't realize is that I was digging through poison ivy roots.
Ooh.
And I got poison ivy all down my forearms to the point that it was blistering,
Oh wow.
and I was miserable for 3 weeks.
So so let's just get back on this cigar topic real quick.
What? We talking about cigars?
Well, I mean, hell, what you think the show was about too?
What you want to know?
So I want to know, do you have like a special go-to one?
Yeah, it's the go-to for me has always been a Bull and Bear Crux Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You just got that girl started, man.
Oh, Lord
I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
That's
Just tell you,
You
yes,
can,
honey,
you can
yes.
be quiet for about 3 minutes
But
now.
her and I, we've always kind of been peas in a pod with certain things.
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love them too, and I buy a lot of them.
Shoot.
But every
They
time it's mentioned, she goes off.
Yep.
I just love that stick.
I do too.
Yeah, it'd be right there with one of those that. Now I will say the one that I got spoiled on there for a while that I wish I could have 17,000 boxes of is, and I think she'll say the exact same thing.
What?
Is those vintage potatoes? Yeah.
Yes.
Those,
Remember we were in the
her and I were just like
grabbing them,
all
like
the
we were just
boxes.
grabbing them. We got all the boxes left.
I remember smoking that the first time I smoked that thing, and then it was actually the first time I opened the box, and I was like, the cedar smell that came out of it was so strong. It just, for me, it was almost like that immediate, like every time I smell like strong pine or cedar or something like that, it gives me baseball nostalgia, which
that makes sense.
I'm a sports baseball nerd, but from pine tar and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it just, man,
it's so good.
The smoke that, like, honestly, a lot of times what I would do is I just pull off it enough to get like smoke coming out of it, and then I just sit here like this because even the cigar itself smells
so good.
Yep.
I still have a few of them left too.
No, I smoked all those things.
No, I still have.
I've just gotten to the point now where like I don't care how vintage or nice or anything is, because here's like the next year someone else is gonna find another vintage box or come out with a new one that's awesome. So I'm just like, I smoke what I got. I've got a couple cigars here and there that I'll still hold on to like for a decent occasion, but I'm like, you know what, a decent occasion is just sitting down having a cigar.
Yeah.
In all
well,
honesty.
you know, and I during COVID I went through a lot of my aging humidor stuff, and but the one box I refuse to touch is the dress box, Techuaje for
the brides.
The brides.
Smoked all those too. I did the same thing for the longest time.
Yeah,
I held on to it for so long.
And I'm talking about the dress box.
Yeah.
You smoked the dress box?
Yeah, all of them.
He smoked them. They gone out of here.
I got the
no
box.
More.
It's autographed by Pete and everything.
Yep.
Actually, I won it, and it was one of the boxes they had in a raffle event one night.
Yep.
And because I happen to be pretty lucky sometimes when it comes to raffle events.
You're just not as lucky as Chris Pennington.
Well, but I also don't spend as much money as
Chris Pennington. No. You know who's lucky.
No, that's not luck. That's buying.
Well, he still wins.
He still wins because he buys $3 million worth of cigars.
Who's that?
You already know who that is.
Elliot?
Yeah. The Big E. Elliot.
Yeah, I don't even count him.
Yeah. Well, the last event, he bought probably $3,000 worth of cigars in order to get enough tickets to win everything.
Yep.
Hey.
Sometimes it be that way. Like
sometimes it is. Hey, if you can do it, the more power to you.
That's still one of my favorite cigar stories. Is right about the time. It was probably a little bit after, like when I joined Industrial and I had buddies that. A couple of the guys that I used to do the cigar review website with, one of them actually worked in a Fuego over there in Frisco, so I would go over there and hang out with them from time to time. And it was probably like the first month that I'd been going in there, and they had a huge Camacho event where it was like buy 20 get 10 free, and that was when they came out with their barrel aged series at the time, like the first year of those. So and they would allow you to so I bought I think I bought 30 and just did 10 of I think I did 10 Corojos, 10 triple Maduros, and 10 whatever else, and then my free ones I did all the barrel aged.
Right.
Let me stop you there real quick. Is that at Fuego that you did that? Or? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I just want to make sure I got the lounge right. Okay.
And like I said, I had only gone in there a couple times, and I was like, well, this is a good way to stock up on cigars, and there's raffle. I think that was the thing. If you bought 30, you got the 10 free, and then they had a domino set and a punch, cutter, and all sorts of flag stuff that you got with it too. But then you got in raffles, and so at the beginning of the month is when this happened, and every Friday they did a raffle for 20-ounce Yeti tumblers.
Right.
Well, I went in on the first Wednesday of the month or whatever, and on Friday I get a call immediately. They're like, hey, you won the 20-ounce Yeti tumbler. And I'm like, cool. I mean, that's a $40, $50 cup or whatever. I've already won, a third of the money that I spent back. The grand prize though was 30 quart Igloo or Yeti cooler. So I mean, like it's like a $400 cooler.
Yeah.
And
did you win the grand prize?
Oh. So I'm actually with my boss at the time. We were over at Cowboy Club, and you can't have your phone or anything in some of those places around there. And I'd gotten a call, and so I walked out, and I was like, I think I recognized the number from when I won the tumbler. And so I walked out to where I could like take a call, and I called it back, and they're like, oh yeah, this is so-and-so down in Fuego. Just want to let you know you won the grand prize. And so when I walked in to go pick it up, there was so many people, and they were like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, we've never seen this guy before. And I'm like, dude, I literally only bought 30 cigars. I'm sure some of those people did the same thing, where they were buying, thousands of dollars worth of cigars.
That's just a lot.
And yeah, I mean, some of the scowling looks you got from some of those people was pretty crazy.
There's a place called the Cigar Lounge in McKinney, and she and I went out there for a DC event, Definition Cigars.
Oh yeah.
And I bought a couple of boxes, and and because I love J-Mon, and I want to support him. She wins the grand prize. What'd you win? You won all kinds of shit.
I won all kinds.
And I joked, I ain't taking you nowhere anywhere else.
I ain't taking you nowhere else. I won an ashtray. I won a hat. I won cigars. I won a cutter, a lighter. Something else.
It wasn't a Yeti, but it was a
Yeti.
It was a nice prize.
But I won a bunch of shit.
And the worst part about it is I haven't even had that Yeti in my house in the last 2 years. My parents took them with them on a trip one time, and they've never given it back to me. Although
Okay, so I don't own a Yeti, but I want a Yeti. But every time I want to go get one, I just think about, why am I going to spend $25 or $50 on this damn Yeti?
That's just my opinion. Is there so many other coolers out there now that do the exact same thing?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said, in my I use a $50. I don't even think it was 50. I think it was like $35-$40. I use an Igloo cooler as my humidor.
That's what he does too. But I have all these different humidors and Tupperware stuff. I'm like, I got to get rid of these humidors because I have to re-season them all the time, and I'm just like, this is too much work, and this is too much work for me right now, and I don't really have the time to do all that.
And you know what? You spend $100 on a
Cigar Oasis or something like that.
A Cigar Oasis, and get a cooler and throw all your shit in there, and
you're done. What's a Cigar Oasis?
It's just a
humidifier.
Humidification device. Okay. Like it's got a big reservoir in it, and you can set them. And so the one I have actually it's got a ribbon cable in it, so you can run it through like the hinge of the lid, and it doesn't like crimp the wire or anything. It's made for certain, to be able to shut doors and stuff on them.
Yeah.
And so you can just set it, at the humidity that you want.
And you every 3 or 4 months you just pop the cartridge out, refill it up with distilled water, put it back in, and you're done.
Oh, well, I guess I need to do that because...
And they've got some now that, like the one I have doesn't, I need to upgrade mine because it's...
Oh, mine, McClurkin gave me the one I've got.
Like, it's got like apps and stuff that you can put every like through
monitor
Wi-Fi
things.
Like
Hold
that,
up. So tell me some more. Listen, let me listen to all this. Go ahead.
You can be sitting at work, and if you're just thinking about it, and go, oh, let me check on the humidity of my, where it's at. And you can just pop it up on your phone, and it'll sit there and show you what.
See, the technology today, the technology.
But you know what?
I'm not too much of a techie kind of girl. I know how to do some stuff.
But do you know what I have learned? Is that people stress too much over the humidification of their cigars.
Well,
you know what?
I mean,
get it within a certain range and leave it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but you're spending money on your sticks. You don't want them to be dried out neither.
No,
so
but you know what? If they dry out, as long as it's not too bad, you can always bring them back.
The only thing I'll say about that
is you can bring them back, but it's the process of bringing them back.
The only reason why I've ever stressed over mine is if I've had people coming over and I know I'm going to be handing stuff out.
Right.
I don't want to hand stuff out to people that they sit there.
Yeah, but if they're 69 or 72, it's not that big a deal.
Already, popping.
Yeah, but you don't want to hand out your good shit neither, especially people that don't smoke really like you smoke.
I hand out whatever I have. I don't. Like I said,
no, I am not handing out.
But you're not handing out Atabays and Byrons.
I'm not handing out no damn good cigars to somebody that doesn't smoke on a regular. You're not getting my Crux. I'm sorry.
So here's a fun story that.
And the Crux is not that expensive, but you're not gonna get my Crux because you don't smoke like that.
This was probably a couple years ago. A buddy of mine lives up in Gunner. He's hammered drunk. Calls me and was like, hey, get up here, we're hanging out, and it's not that far of a drive for me. And it's like one of my best friends from high school still to this day. And he's like, bring a whole bunch of cigars. We're like, we got a bunch of dudes up here, ball this and that. And I'm like, all right, here we go. So I was like, I grabbed about 8, 9, 10 sticks. I'm like, no, it's not really going to be as, hyped up as he's saying.
Right.
There was about 4 guys that wanted to smoke cigars.
Okay.
And so I had some, not just shitty stuff, but the one that really got me is I handed a Superfly.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love the Superfly.
Okay, hold on.
Superfly to one of the guys.
Dave got me on Superflies.
Okay.
Dave got me on a lot of damn sticks. That's his fault.
So here's where it gets super funny, and I mean it was like clench the fist, cringe, like just cringe.
I would have punched him in his face. You messing up a Superfly.
You know what he did to it?
Oh, what did he? You see, that might make me mad because you done messed up a damn Superfly.
I gave it to him. He took it out of the wrapper, put it in his mouth, and just started chewing on it.
Oh no.
And I asked him, I was like, what are you doing? You're not going to cut it? And he goes, oh, I don't smoke them. I just chew on them.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what?
This was after the fact that I gave it to him.
You know what?
And I've
got a resident at the apartment complex that I live at who does the same thing.
No, sir. No.
He says he can get about 3 or 4 days out of one stick.
He needed his ass whooped for that. Period. You don't do that to a Superfly. What is wrong?
I let it go because they were all way drunker than I was because I got there late and I was like, I'm not about to start something with a drunk guy right now, but
no.
But guess what? You're not getting the rest of the time that I come around you.
No, I've been like, that's $15.
Oh,
So you too damn nice. You too damn nice.
Don't pimple.
Shit, man. You messing up a Superfly and you just chewing on it?
Yeah.
What? No.
And he did.
But
he
you know what?
Just chewed and chewed and chewed. And I was like, you know what?
And I love the Superflies.
But yeah, I told. I mean, I did tell him. I was like, you ain't never getting one from me again.
Yeah.
Like good. Because he didn't need it.
If that's how you're going to disrespect the stick.
If this,
you did.
If this
he really
situation
did.
happens again, you're not getting one from me again. You better
he
bring
did.
it.
He disrespected. He disrespected the stick.
Well, and I was like, I wish I would have. I mean, if he would have just told me ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like I still think there could have been an inkling of me that would have given him like the worst one that I had.
Yep.
Just out of
right.
courtesy.
Yep. Whatever. But I'm not giving him a freaking Superfly to go chew on.
Well, you know, and I joke every time I have a Superfly, I have to listen to Superfly.
Yeah.
Curtis
That is
Mayfield.
such a really, really good stick. I remember the first time I had one, Dave gave it to me.
Oh.
It's like he didn't give it to me. He picked it up for me. He's like, here, add this to your collection. And so I tried it, and man, oh man.
And when I can find a box and I've got the money for them, I always buy a box.
It's a very good. It's a very, very nice
That's an
thing.
interesting concept too. That like. It's always been one of those things that I've enjoyed asking people on their philosophy on that is, if you find something that you like, do you buy a box or do you just buy a handful? Because I've gotten to the point where I don't buy boxes anymore.
You know, it depends on how.
I mean, it has to be
how
something
often
that
I see it.
Really, really like, and how often I can actually find it.
Exactly, and that's the deal. And in fact, I bought a box of Superfly about a month and a half ago. You remember? And that's because somebody had them. And I said, get me a box, because I hadn't had any in probably 6 months. And I was like, hey, you got them, let me have some. Because Oscar makes a phenomenal stick.
Yeah. Right. That Superfly is just awesome. But
you know what? I bought that box, I'm down to 4.
You did what?
I bought that box, I'm only down to 4.
Smoke them.
I am smoking them. I smoked the shit out of them, and I'm going to smoke them until they're gone and buy another box.
There you go.
As soon as I find one.
Yeah.
Now, see, you have to worry about the bull and bears because they're just, I know where I can get them.
You got a phone number. All you got to do is make a phone call.
Just make a phone call. Hell, he even bought me a 5-pack himself.
Yep. No, I mean, the bull and bear has always been, but I mean, there's just so many things in that line too. I mean, I'm sure the Habano, the Epicure Habano that's about to finally release, it's like, you know, and that's one of the things on that one too. It's like, have you smoked one yet?
Not yet.
Like, having not smoked one, I hope they're phenomenal because the hype behind them and how long people have had to wait for them is
well, you know,
pretty crazy.
And we discussed this earlier.
It's a Crux cigar, so you know
it's going to be good.
We touched on this earlier. Crux is one of those brands, Principal, Patoro, and I can go on. those brands, they don't make a bad stick.
They don't.
I mean, everything is really good. It may, like I said, it may not blow your mind and be totally amazing, but it's so fucking solid and such a great stick. You just buy it and enjoy it.
And I tell you what, that's gonna be the first stick I smoke when I get on that damn ship this weekend.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, next week.
Oh, I'm going on a cruise, baby. Yes, honey.
You're
Yes,
going on a
yes,
cruise.
yes. I am going to Ocho Rios, Grand Cayman, and Cozumel. So I will just be. I've already mapped out where the smoking deck is. At deck 5. I was looking on that last night. Deck 5. I already know where that's at. And I'm gonna be up there.
So
Anybody
basically,
looking for
that's
me?
the only place you're gonna be.
Hey, look, anybody looking for me? Look for me on deck 5.
I'll be on deck 5.
I'll be on
Does it got
deck.
a casino in it?
Yeah, well, I don't gamble like that.
Oh,
so
come on.
I don't.
That's the best part of being on a cruise.
I know,
No,
but I don't
it's
gamble
not.
when I go to Vegas either. So
Well,
it's
I mean,
like,
not after you get off the ship, but
No. I mean, I took a cruise several years ago.
I like my money.
And I need another one.
I don't want to
Because
sleep
that
loose
was
to
one
a
of the most
machine.
relaxing vacations I ever had. Because
Yeah,
you
and
can
I'm just ready to go.
You can do whatever you want. You just have to. All you got to do is relax. You don't have to worry about being anywhere or doing anything. And you find you a nice chair and a drink, and
I
just
got the drink
enjoy it.
package. Mm.
And you got the drink package.
Yeah, so you know.
So
I'm gonna be
so
up there
when
with
you-
my stick and my liquor.
Yep. So.
Well, and it's just you're on the. I mean, that's my thing is
Yeah.
just water in general for me. Like water is like I call it my spiritual resonation.
Well, you know what?
I can go to this
Rhonda-
little spot behind the house on the lake and just listen to the waves and everything, or I'm on the boat fishing.
Rhonda and I are talking about organizing a cruise trip next year. You need to go with us.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, we
Yep.
want to do like a cigar cruise group, like a cigar, I don't know. I'll figure out the name of it and send a Facebook invite. I just think we all should get together and do something like that because it's
So,
fun.
that's also another
we all
big
like to do the same
Topic
thing.
of debate with cruises: do you buy the drink package or no?
It depends.
It
hold
depends
on.
on
It depends
the cruise line.
It depends on which cruise line you go on.
Okay, so this is new information to me.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
So
always under the assumption
She's
if
done
you
the
know who you
research, and
are,
I'm just gonna shut
buy
up.
it.
no. So I have been on Royal, which was my first cruise I ever went on, and I went on Norwegian was my second, and this one I'm going on Carnival. So let me just tell you, I got outvoted, so that's why I'm not going on Norwegian. But I've never been on Carnival. This is gonna be the first time I've ever been on Carnival, so I'll tell you how I liked it afterwards.
Okay.
But what I don't like about Carnival is everybody in your cabin has to get the drink package if one wants it.
So if there's 3 people in your room or 2 people in your room, all of them have to
All
get
of
it.
them have to
One
get it.
gets all get it.
All get it, right?
Okay.
But if you go on Norwegian, which is my favorite cruise line, they offer you 5 free things that you get to pick from, and one of them is the drink package.
Okay.
So why wouldn't you want the damn drink package so you don't have to worry about paying
So
for
then
the
here's,
drink package?
here's my next question too that I would try to do. It's like if you're going with like 7, 8, 6, 7 people, something like that, why wouldn't you just have like one room gets it, the other room doesn't, and then you just all split it and you just go double fist it and you give the other one to them?
No, you cannot do that on Carnival. But
Like, do they have
On
drink-
Norwegian,
Do they
like
have
on
drink
Norwegian.
police
Yeah.
that are watching you like give them to people? Or?
you can't, you have to have like this card or something. They give you a card and
Right,
shit
but
on
if I have the
Carnival.
card and I want to go like say I just need 2 drinks.
But you're only allowed 15 drinks
A
a
day.
day on Carnival.
Well, shit, I hope I'm not drinking 15 drinks in a day.
Shit, hell, I'm gonna drink 15 drinks in a goddamn day. I'm on vacation.
I've been on vacation.
Let me tell you
15
something.
Drinks in a day.
I just spent $800 on a drink package, and I'm gonna get every damn drink worth my damn worth my money.
I will agree with that. If you're gonna spend the money on
And
it,
I'm gonna
then you
get
might as well
I'm
your
gonna get my
money's
drink package worth it. It's gonna work for me.
worth. My parents go on a lot of them, and their favorite one is Princess. They love
So
Princess.
I've never been on Princess. I've not been on but a couple people have been on Princess, but I've not ever been on Princess. But I like Norwegian because they offer you, free amenities. Like it's a drink package, it's a Wi-Fi package, it's a dining package, it's an excursion package.
And I'm avoiding the Wi-Fi package
and it's
at all
something else.
costs.
It's something else that they offer you.
Next time I go on one though, they better have bingo because that was my favorite.
Oh,
part.
everybody has bingo.
That's my
Oh,
favorite because you always get that MC that knows all the
Hold on, wait a minute. We had. Well, I don't know if were you there when we did bingo at ICC?
Yes.
Man, it was so much fun.
No, I wasn't. I didn't make that one.
Okay, I was gonna say that. I remember seeing y'all. We had so much fun playing bingo over there. Like it was so
The
much
Family Feud was
fun.
pretty fun,
Family
too.
Feud was fun too. But bingo, that was my jam. That was I didn't win, but I was close every time. And you know, my card was purple. But yes.
Of course.
Oh, come on.
Of course.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Every cruise has bingo. They all have. I already mapped it out. I was listening. Like I pulled up the ship that we're going on and seen all the amenities that they offer and stuff like that. And I was thinking, damn, I'm gonna upgrade to this room next time. Oh, but I remember I'm probably not gonna go on Carnival again because I want to get on Norwegian so I can get that damn drink package.
Right. I think the only ones. I mean, I haven't been on one. I think the last time I went on one was like 20 or 21. So that was.
You're only 30.
Huh?
You're only 30.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So people, stay tuned.
No, you're
We're going
not.
to get that information out to you guys about this cruise because I think we all should cruise together.
Yes, and the reason I brought that up is because next week, actually, Dustin will be my co-host, and we're having Kevin Hand. We're going to be at Viso Cigar Lounge, and Rhonda's just going to have to miss out. And we're going to drink old fashions. I'm going to make a whole big batch of old fashions, and we're going to sit and drink old fashions at Viso next week.
Yeah, that's just a sad
Can I just be in
thing.
the gallery for that one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
If I'm in the gallery, do I still get an old fashioned?
I will give you an old fashioned.
Okay. Then I'll be in the gallery.
All right.
Dang.
That sounds
And
good.
I hate that I'm gonna miss out on old fashioned, but I'll be sailing, boo. I'll be sailing, baby. It's okay.
And funny thing is,
I think,
Rhonda.
I think you're all right.
I'll be okay.
And I haven't told the whole story here, but Rhonda didn't like old fashions for the longest time, and we went down to Wild Cigar, and she had an old fashioned there and loved it. And I jokingly was talking to somebody not too long ago. I said, I always order an old fashioned at a new bar that I haven't been to yet because it's such a basic drink. And if you fuck up an old fashioned, I kind of worry about anything else that you're going to make.
Oh, and people can do it.
And they do.
It's easy.
And so
I've done it.
I thought about it and realized I hadn't made an old fashioned in probably 15 years. And so I grabbed all the stuff to make an old fashioned to refresh my memory, and I was like, okay, I can still make an old fashioned. And I made one for Rhonda, and Rhonda actually enjoyed it. So I figured if she enjoyed it, I was doing okay.
Now, if you want the drink master, that's the one that you get from your shirt next week.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's gonna make some drinks.
He can swing them out.
He can make some drinks. I done had his drinks too.
There's not much that I've found so far that I can give him something like, oh, I want to try this, and if he's got the ingredients for it.
Hey,
And Wesley has popped in a couple times. He says,
Hey, Wesley.
"Hi,
Hey,
homies."
Wesley.
And he says, and he's gonna get. He said he's gonna get your crux, Rhonda.
He's gonna. Oh, okay.
And he loves the epicures.
Okay.
And the last one here is 15 drinks by noon.
Okay, Wesley, at least 5.
Yeah. Well, I sent you a video not too long ago about cruise stuff, and one of the things that the reason Carnival is going to change up the way they do their drink packages is because of the 15 limit, and people think that is a challenge, and they've had so much issue with people drinking themselves drunk, falling down and passing out in the hallways and shit like that.
Just don't fall off the damn shit.
You know,
I
If
just
you don't fall in the water,
I just don't want you to fall off the damn
I mean,
shit.
if you get to the point where you're like throwing up on everything.
I mean,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's-
then
that's when
you don't need to be drinking no
I'm
more.
tired of this whole thing. Like, if you're on a cruise and someone passes out in the hallway, let them fucking sleep.
Yeah. As long as they're not throwing up.
Right. As long as they're not sick, let them.
That's the same with Vegas. If they're having a good time and they pass out in the hallway in Vegas, let them just leave them alone. First of all, make sure they're alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then throw a blanket on them.
Make sure they're alive first, because I don't want no dead
Because
person in
that's
the
fun part is
hallway.
You get to kick people sometimes just to make sure they're still breathing.
Yeah, well, hey.
And
Luckily none of my crew does that, but
they had the video I was watching. They had an issue in particular that they pointed out. They had to bring on a dog, a drug sniffing dog, because one of the people were smoking dope in their cabins, and you just can't do that.
No.
You know?
Well,
I mean, come on.
That's it. I mean, so there's two sides to any, whether it be cruises or anything. It's like, you know what? There's some places that are meant to have fun, let people have fun, but at the same time, you also need to be respectful. If it's a place that you're
Respectful and responsible.
if you're not supposed to be doing stuff like that in a certain place, don't go get.
yeah, don't
hammered
go get hammered.
do stuff in certain places. You know, like don't get hammered and start joyriding golf carts around neighborhoods. Where you're gonna run into shit. And,
Right. Right.
Like you did last week?
Exactly. Wesley, I want.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, he be telling your business, and that's why you can't tell his ass shit, because he be telling.
I basically just sold my business.
Oh, you told on your damn stuff? Okay, I won't give him a hard time. But hold on, Wesley, I want you to tell me when you see me again, not next week, but the following week, how you like the Bull and Bear.
He'll probably tell you here in about 3 seconds. But.
Is he a newbie to Crux in
Oh,
general?
No. Like, Bull and Bear is my favorite. Like,
but he's a fan of the Epicures.
Yeah,
but
he likes the Epicures.
Remember when they
But I started with the Epicures, but then I went to the Bull and Bears, and I was like, oh my god.
I also say the Epicure, when they came out with the short Salomones, that thing.
Oh my god. Yes.
That thing was phenomenal. Like that first little bit of it, that it's just, you get so much more wrapper, and I mean it just had a completely different profile from the Epicure, because then once you get past that, then you get into the goodness of the Epicure. But it's like, it was a really cool kind of like, it's almost like an appetizer to the cigar, right?
Right.
Like, you know what you're gonna get once you get to the body of it, but just that style of how they roll it, and you get that.
Well, you know, and I joked with Brandon not too long ago, because for Saturday at the shop, probably for the first year, and that may be only a slight exaggeration, for Saturday at the shop, he smoked the Crux Epicure. That's what he was always having.
And I believe Brandon is the one that turned me on to the Bull and Bears, and which is why I don't smoke the Epicures.
It wasn't Nate, 'cause he's the.
Well, no, he does. He loves them too. Like, but now, I mean, between him and he buys them more than I do.
Well,
but
that's the whole nostalgia thing of the cigar too. It's like, the reason that it's always resonated with me is it's just a phenomenal cigar.
It's a great stick.
Like we were talking about earlier, it's a multifunctional cigar.
Yep.
It's a cigar that
and it's reasonably priced.
Yes.
Because that's the thing, right? Is they're not expensive.
Nope.
They're priced at a good point to where,
in
all honesty, you're probably getting a steal.
Yep.
Yeah.
For most places, what they charge for them.
Well,
but I mean, I can play golf with it. I can fish with it. I can work in the garage. I can do yard work.
Yeah.
Or I can sit down by myself and like.
And the other one that's like that is the White Label Accomplice from Principal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about an $8 to $10 stick, and
I've always felt like I'm on the shorter end of the stick when it comes to this. One of my favorite principles that I kept going back to a lot was the bad principle.
The bad
I tell you what, the bad principle.
It's dark, it's rich, it's just got a lot of the flavor palette that I like.
Well, and the deal is, it's and not to disparage it, but it's leftover leaves from the Aviator line, which is aged tobacco to begin with.
Right.
And they're making use of that great tobacco to produce the bad principles.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
that was when they came out with that one. I just kept that. So
and those I bought a whole bunch of those 5-packs, man.
That, and then the other one that I kept going back to a lot that I need to find some more is the Sergeants. I love the Sergeant.
Yep.
And it's just those are ones that just they have that boldness to them. They're not like, super heavy on the strength end, but they've got a little bit of kick to them.
Yep.
But they're just so rich.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, I mean, it's like the like, and I don't want to say anything bad about them, because they're still good. They're like, there was something to the OG guilds when the guild first came out from Crux that it just, there's something about them now that they're still really good, but and maybe it's just my mindset to them, but like the original ones when they came out, I was just so enamored with those things too. And for some reason, I just don't get quite the same feeling out of that. Like the Bull and Bear is always good.
Well,
the Bull and Bear is sweet, savory. It's just, oh my God.
Let me.
Like, it's you know what? I can't talk about it because it just makes me excited.
And I'm going to.
Because I just love that damn
for
stick.
you. Next week, because Kevin Han is the unofficial ambassador.
He
for
loves Crux. He does. He loves Crux. I think he loves Crux more than I do.
I've got 2 boxes unopened of old label Crux, probably from 2018, 2019, and I told Kevin we're smoking those on the show next week.
That's
damn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because there's
You see how he do me?
That's some of the stuff that I actually still have sitting around there.
You see, I see how you are.
Because that was another one.
You're not saying nothing because you know you're wrong for that shit.
You forced me to find another co-host. I gotta do something.
I can't go on vacation. A sister need a break.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I'm like, I need a
bar.
break. I need a big break. Like, I need a break. I work a lot.
She needs a break like a Kit Kat bar.
You're right.
So
You're damn right.
I think what she's trying to say is like maybe save one somewhere for.
She knows I'm gonna give her
He's
one.
gonna say. I'm just mad because he gonna smoke it while I'm gone. I want to enjoy that shit too.
And then that's the cool thing about them too is getting to know Sam, the rep and everything. It's like,
oh yeah.
They're such good people that like every time he's around, it's like, hey, it doesn't have to be anytime soon. I'm not gonna press you on it, but if you happen to come across like some nymphomaniacs or something like that, like, let me know. Because the crazy thing is there's so many cigar shops, not just them, but like all these retailers have sold stuff to at one point or another that like just collect dust that people don't smoke.
Yep.
And they're phenomenal stuff. And then all of a sudden you find out from someone, and Kevin's a big one. Like Kevin will go places. Bobby's sitting over there. He's been places when he was trucking all the time that he'd go to lounges. And they've got like a whole bunch of crux in here that's on sale because nobody smokes.
Yep.
Or you go somewhere
But
else
see,
and
they're missing out, and they don't even know how good the shit is.
Right.
So it's like, so those shops are like, okay, well, no one's buying this, but let's discount it. Give me a whole box.
Because there's so many, and that's the crazy thing is there's even the manufacturers that don't even because there's a lot of them that will try to buy up old product from shops, but then there's sometimes they don't even remember what shops have them. And
and Edgar Hoyle does that all the time.
He's had so many mishaps and everything here and there that aren't all his fault by any means, but
he's walked into the shop many times and goes, I found a whole bunch of my old stuff in this shop that was collecting dust. I just bought it back from them.
And they're so good.
Oh, they are.
Like some of his stuff that he's given me before that are like the old EH label stuff that was his like real original stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So good. So good. And he's such a cool dude too. That was one of my favorite days is he was in town for an event and he loves to fish.
Yep.
And so like we were talking about it. I was like, hey, let's get up in the morning and pond hop. Because I don't have a boat or anything like that. I pond hop all the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. And now in true Edgar fashion, he was about 2 hours late.
Of course.
And because me when I fish, I'm like up at the crack ass of dawn.
We know your ass is on the damn boat at tide.
Sleeping off the drunk he had last night.
He didn't go to bed until 7, so he's rolling out. So, but he got there about 9:30ish or something like that. And we start going. We hit this one pond, go to the next one, and I always got my case with me with cigars.
Yep.
And he goes, don't pull anything out of there. He had a whole bundle of cease and desist, or I guess at that time they were still known as the Queen Bees.
Yes.
And was like, no, we're smoking these all day. And I'm like, all right.
Okay. Hey.
Twist my arm.
Yep.
Hey.
So we sat there and because those things you can burn through them pretty quick.
Well, they're not that big. They're
And so we're just sitting there just chain smoking, freaking cease and desist all day fishing. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah. Well,
we are way over an hour.
It was so nice to see you. So nice to have you on the show. I'm glad I really got a chance to see you. It's been such a long time since I've seen my Blake.
And we rearranged the schedule to make sure that she was here for you. And
I was not a happy camper. I was like, what?
I'm glad I was able to rearrange. Like I said, Wednesdays Wednesdays are always the weird one for me because I've got bass club meetings on the first month, and then I do Fuse at the church on Wednesdays and everything else. But we have enough volunteers they can do without me for a couple of them here and there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm glad y'all had me on, and I'm happy to be sitting here with both of y'all.
I know, I'm so happy to see you.
Once this goes off, we can sit down and really enjoy it a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yes.
So thanks everybody for showing up.
Thank you guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Be here Saturday for the Lampert event.
Yes.
And the music and the drinks, and catch us next week at VISO, 8 o'clock Central Time as always, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.